And yes, it's that time of the day once again. It's time for Spot the Money. This podcast, we will be reviewing all that went down this week as the transfer deadline window shut 11 p.m. on Monday. And we are going into international friendlies over the weekend and for the next couple of days. All of that for you and so much more on your number one sports podcast, right, which begins in a moment. All right. Yes, welcome to the show with Spot the Money, your Friday edition. And we're going straight into our interview segment right now with Kelechi Nkoro on the line. Good morning, Kelechi.
Yeah, good morning to you, Bimbo. Always a pleasure joining you on the show.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure. And we are going to go straight into it. Just a review of what happened the week, at the start of the week. The transfer window is shut. Who do you think has done the best business through this very unusual transfer window that we've had?
Somehow, teams like Chelsea, I would say teams like Chelsea, even AC Milan, Inter Milan, I think they also strengthened some of these teams have found a way to, put their team on the right track for the future. Maybe not instant results like Chelsea and AC Milan, but Inter Milan now have a stronger squad to, contain with or put pressure on Juventus to gain that Scudetto off them. So I think they've done a good business. I'm not too sure of what Manchester City did in the transfer window. Manchester United were appalling. They spent almost the whole transfer window chasing a winger in Sancho that never came. It was a sad one. So I think I'll tip Chelsea, AC Milan, and Inter Milan.
Chelsea. You were going. I was going to touch on Manchester City. For a team that Pep Guardiola came in and they had some good success with Pep Guardiola and. Playing second fiddle, just barely beating Liverpool and now coming second. Do you think that they would do more this window to strengthen the squad so that they can, get back the title from Liverpool? But it seemed like they're just content with where they are. They really didn't do much this window. Why do you think that was?
Let's not forget that they just escaped the teeth of the shark, talking about FFP, with finding a loophole in the laws that saved them out of their outrageous spending that they've been doing, unrealistic spending, I must say, which UEFA did not like. And now they had to face reality. No club can continue spending that much on the high every season or and increase now they had to face the reality. The truth is Manchester City got some defenders. They might have solved a problem at the back, but they are very light in the middle. Their central midfield is very, very light. Losing Silva and having an aging Fernandinho, losing Sane, their central midfield, the midfield, pairing might not help them this season. We might see more shocking results from Manchester City this season. I don't know how Pep is going to handle having Fernandinho, Rodri, Gunnar, and what's his name now again? Kevin De Bruyne, Foden. Those 5 players can't take you through the season. Injuries are going to come into play. So for me, I understand why City are not doing business. They are trying to balance the books. And Pep Guardiola would have to find a way to do a Wenger for them, because only Wenger, I think, could have survived whatever he survived at Arsenal and still put Arsenal at the top.
All right, let's hone in a little bit now on Manchester United transfer deadline. Just coming off the back of a very scandalous defeat from Tottenham Hotspur 6-1, losing at Old Trafford, I must add. And they went to get Edison Cavani for free. They got Telles. They signed an 18-year-old Ivorian winger that will join them in January. Signed another youngster, and it kind of looked like what happened to Arsenal after Wenger got beating 8-2 at Old Trafford, and then he went to buy everybody, including Mikel Arteta, who is now Arsenal's current manager.
See, I'm going to say this to you. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is just a figurehead. He's not the kind of coach or tactical coach that Manchester United need to move the club to the next level. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer goes ahead to get players. Why did you so push to get Odion Ighalo in the club when you knew that you can't trust him enough? Because it's so glaring why Edison Cavani was bought. Odion Ighalo is not the man he wants for that club. He does not trust Odion Ighalo to give him the goals. Martial is going to miss 3 games, if I'm not mistaken, after that little encounter with Lamela, where he got sent off. He had to get another striker. Edison Cavani, good addition to the side. But you look at the whole Manchester United side and you're asking yourself, why not go for a left winger? Why not go for natural wingers? The only natural winger United have is actually David, if I'm not James. Yes, it's James. That's the only winger they have. The young James is the only one who is a natural winger. Rashford is playing out of position. Green, the young talent, is also being played out of position in the wings. So they have a problem with who players going to run in from the wing. And then you look at them, what they did in the transfer. Woodward and Oli. All they did was go for Sancho. There were other younger talents, a lot of them. There's this Bailly guy who is doing well with Bayer Leverkusen. There's Diate who is doing well in Belgium. There are a lot of wingers, left wingers, right wingers. But they spent over 30 days chasing one player, which they did not get. And United are going to suffer for it, because you're going to see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer freeze on the bench like he did in that 6-1 loss again, over Tottenham. The moment he went 2-1 down, the substitution he did in the second half where he brought when he went a red card down, that you saw him where he brought Fred and McTominay, was what he was supposed to respond with immediately. That's when he responded. He did that substitution when they were 5-1 down. How do you do that? So it tactically is making blunders, even with the squad he has. And I don't think United can trust such a man. So I don't expect anything. United have been awful since Fergie left. They've been awful with how they do their transfers. So you can call it another panic buy with what they've done. They've started buying wingers now, but imagine they've done 2 transfers. They are joining in January. It's a sad situation for United.
Now let's look at another transfer deadline signing. Arsenal got Ghanaian Thomas Partey, and there was a play of words, welcome to the party, when they announced him. And then they had to ship out some players, either to balance the books or to balance the squad. And then there's still the pending issue of this young man called Mesut Ozil that, might be sitting on the bench and collecting £350,000 a week for doing absolutely nothing. What's your assessment of all of that?
Okay, so first off, I'm happy for Guendouzi. He's a very young, good talent who I thought shouldn't be in that situation. So I'm happy for Guendouzi that he was able to move down to Germany to go and continue playing and help his development. Then I'm going to say this: if Arsenal were 100-1 to win the Premier League, the acquisition of Partey just took them from 100 to 1 to at least 35 to 1. Which means Arsenal now has a very likely chance of winning the Premier League with what we have seen them play. Thomas Partey would bring stability in that midfield and give players like Aubameyang, Pepe, William, now a bit of a freedom to go. And then you also have a player who can run into the flanks, the kind of Frank Lampard kind of run into the flanks to get a goal. They are building. Let's not forget, Arsenal is building a squad. They are building for the future. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that every transfer window, you get in one quality. Arsenal has just gotten quality in that midfield. They have gotten quality in that midfield where I think if they continue like this in the next 2-3 transfer windows, we might end up seeing an Arsenal squad that will be fighting for the Premier League in the next 2 years. So good business they did with Partey. Atletico Madrid are still hurting because what Arsenal went to do was trigger his buyout clause. They are still hurting. They are still hurting from it. Now let's look at the Ozil situation. For me, the Ozil situation is simple. Ozil feels hurt by Arsenal. Arsenal feel hurt by certain things that Ozil did, and they have freezed him out. But I think Ozil himself is not interested to leave London anytime soon. So Arsenal are left with a decision. Stay with the player who is with them or sit down and terminate his contract. That's what most clubs do. I don't know why Arsenal have not taken that route to terminate his contract and let him go. Free yourself of that huge debt because it's huge. That salary can get you at least 2 or 3 younger players who you can build the future with. But it's a funny situation with what's happening with Arsenal and Ozil. Ozil coming out last week to, still make a statement that he loves the club by saying that the mascot is going to handle the mascot's salary. For crying out loud, if I'm earning £320,000 a week for not playing football or just sitting on the bench, I will handle your salaries, Bimbo.
Please, handle it.
I will. Please. I'm just saying, it's funny how everybody's trying to make it look like he's earning for not playing.
So yeah.
He's going to handle that guy's salary. It's not going to cost him anything.
I think what Arsenal were hoping for is that somebody will come and take him off their hands, maybe for a loan deal, but I don't think anybody can match that salary, £350,000 or £320,000 for a loan deal for a player of his age.
When you want to get rid of a player like Ozil, you let him play. You don't keep him on the bench at that age. Except if Ozil is 22 years old. That's when you will see clubs come and take a risk on him. Ozil is way over 30. Nobody's going to take a risk for that kind of player if he's not playing. And then Arsenal comes out and make you believe that the problem why he's not playing is that he's injured.
He's injured, yeah.
Exactly. So people are going to run from such a player at that age.
All right.
So that's why I think Arsenal should sit down on the round table like Juventus did with Higuain, Khedira, Barcelona did with Suarez. A lot of people, did with Arturo Vidal. Just end the contract, have an agreement, mutual, and end it and move on.
Okay, finally now, just quickly, international friendlies. We are in that window. Nigeria will play the Desert Foxes. South Africa will play Sao Tome. Games are going on. Cote d'Ivoire were involved yesterday. Argentina won qualifiers, 1-0. Messi scored yesterday. Which games are you looking at this weekend, and how important is that Nigerian game with the Desert Foxes?
I was opportune to be in a Zoom press conference for the coach yesterday. And he made it clear. He said that, yes, we finished third at the last Cup of Nations, which is good. But we shouldn't forget that Nigeria has not been able to play any competitive match for a long while. So the level of the team has dropped. He's actually without almost six of his starting players due to either COVID or permission to be exempted or injury knock. The likes of Ndidi Etebo, Osimhen, a lot of them are not there. So this is like a new squad for him. So for him, he made it clear that he wants to see what these guys are. His top 3 goalkeepers are not there. Ezinwa Akpeyi and even, what's this young man's name now? Ozoho. They are not with the squad. So he has new set of goalkeepers with him. So it's an interesting situation where he has a new set of players playing against the African champions. So for him, he's just going to watch out and see which of these players can now join when he has his full squad ready and compete for places. That was all he said about that, and that's what a lot of us will be looking at. The future of this Super Eagles. Can we go on to better ourselves in 2021 in Cameroon when we go for the African Cup of Nations? In 2022, are we going to finally leave the group under Raw? How would Nigeria? Is there a future in the Nigerian side? I think that's mainly what I'm looking forward to. I'm not really interested in what's happening in the European scene right now. So for me, it's Nigeria and how this squad will do against Algeria and then their other game against Tunisia.
All right. I'm going to do something now that I've not done on this show before, but it's because, the office of the sports ministry in Nigeria also has to do with youth development. And the Minister of Sports, Sunday Dare, went to see the Inspector General of Police over the SARS issue, and all the protests that has gone on with SARS. What's your thoughts on the end SARS matter?
No, I'll say this, Bimbo. The truth about it is that the Nigerian government has lost the trust of the people. You cannot give us promises anymore. Nobody's going to. NSAS has been a problem since 2015, if I'm not mistaken. I could give you a lot of newspaper publications that had promises and promises, but the brutality and the death roll kept on growing. It's not stopping based on the promises that we are. What people are asking for right now, what Nigerians are asking for, what the youths are asking for is that, okay, since you're having problems reforming these people and just end them first and then start all over again. Just end it. And because these guys are not getting... We even saw, there was a video yesterday, which is sad, right in front of the government house where people are protesting. A policeman punches one of the protesters, then cocks his gun. It's a sad mentality. So that's why no matter how much you want to do your social media tweeting, I'm going to say that it was embarrassing by Naira Marley, who came out to say, oh, let's come out to protest. People had laced their shoes to go out, and then you come out and say you are now going, the police has promised to do a reform. No one is waiting for promises anymore. The promises they are failing on their promises. It's unfortunately, that's the truth. That's why everyone is tired. So that's why the people are deciding to take things, do their own protest by themselves, as peaceful as possible. A lot of protests that I've seen in the last 24 hours has been so peaceful. But making sure that they are the ones doing it. And until I had about 150 people slept in front of the Lagos State House of Assembly yesterday night. They are still there this morning. They are still going. In fact, people are now offering to go and feed them. This has the potential to become the kind of uproar we saw in Egypt a few years back. Interestingly, the government thinks that by ignoring, it's going to go away. I think it's going to increase, and our advice that they listen to the people.
All right, thank you so much. Security is a very integral part of economic sustainability, for an economy that we hope will be stable, especially in the midst of a pandemic right now. this matter, this NSAS or this SARS issue is something that we really don't want now. So let's hope that we get a grip on it. Thank you so much, Kelechi Nkoro.
Thank you very much, Bimbo. Always a pleasure.
All right. And that's our show for this morning. We thank our guests always coming through for us on the show. Breakfast Connect will continue in a bit. Stay with us.